is the Space Reverb pedal from Eventide, and I wanted to do a quick video to show you just how much control you have over each of these algorithms just on the top of the box. We're going to look at the Hall reverb, because that's sort of been my go-to reverb for a long time now, even before the Space came out. And what you just heard was sort of a darker reverb with lots of modulation and a medium decay. So let's look at the knobs here for a second. I know people don't like this, but for stuff like this I feel like it's kind of important. You've got the mix and decay knob, pretty standard. The size knob controls, in this case, the size of the hall that we're playing in. So I'll show you what that does. Delay serves as a pre-delay for the reverb, so you play and then how long it takes the reverb to come in. I typically don't like a whole lot of pre-delay, with a hall sound at least, so that's turned all the way off. And then the interesting part for the hall delay is that these three knobs are all EQ related. So you've got low, high, and the contour knob serves as like a medium EQ range. The effects mix knob controls modulation, that's cranked up. And then I think maybe the most interesting part of this particular algorithm is the X and Y knob. These two knobs control the decay of the high and low spectrum of the reverb. So as you can see, I've got a lot of low dialed in, and I've got more decay in there than the high. So what we'll do is I'll just play some stuff and kind of talk about what I'm doing. What we'll do is we'll dial back the mix a little bit and crank up the decay. So what this does is it still gives you sort of all of the sound of your playing, but with the reverb sort of in the background just being awesome. So if you want to, you can turn up the mix, and then it's great for swells too. What's handy here is that when you roll your volume down to get to the next chord to do your swell, sometimes you lose a lot of low end, and it's kind of obvious that you're doing swells. So what's cool is when you can crank up the low decay, and it keeps a lot of that fullness. So I like that quite a bit, so it's not, you know, quite as obvious that you're doing swells with your volume knob. But I'll pull the decay back here and keep the mix right around half. This is a wet dry, so at 50% you're sort of right there in the middle, which is kind of obvious. I'll pull those out and kind of put these in the middle there. So this is with no modulation. So that kind of gives you an idea of the modulation. I'll pull that out and we'll kind of show you the pre-delay here. So I don't know, pre-delay is good for some kinds of reverb, but I don't particularly like it with the Hall. But let's take a look here at the EQ. So what we'll do is we'll set up sort of a brighter initial setting, but then I'll crank up the low decay so that what we have left is a lot of that low end. Conversely, I'll do that. So it's like a bassier reverb, but then what you have left after in the trails is the high end. So I just think that's kind of a really cool feature. So you can kind of balance what your initial sound is and then what you're left with, so, in the trail. So I'm sure a lot of the ambient guys are going to love this thing, and I'm sure a lot of other people will as well, but I've rambled on for long enough, so I hope you enjoyed the video.